From Kansas City's beautiful Kauffman Stadium, the Houston Astros begin a three-game series with the American League's front-running KC Royals. The Stros waste no time as they send their newly acquired lefty Scott Kazmir to the mound against KC's Jeremy Guthrie. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. Nice day for the Astros yesterday. In fact, a great one as they win a very classic game on the home run by Jose Altuve, walk-off style. And then before that, great news as Scott Kazmir is added to the fold. What does that mean to a team this time of the year?
I think it means a lot, and I like the idea of Scott Kazmir coming over here. He is a big name to the Astros because they play against him when he's with Oakland, but he's not that dominant superstar that's going to come in and disrupt a clubhouse like the Astros have going right now.
At the same time, Scott Kazmir's been having a heck of a year, especially in Oakland. How that translates this year with the Astros, we'll see.
And he's pitched with Oakland. He is familiar with the American League West, which the Astros want him to be comfortable pitching in because they know down the stretch they're going to have plenty more games against that West competition. See what he's done against Texas, Los Angeles, and Seattle. But since June 6th, that 1.35 ERA is phenomenal. That whip well under 1. But now you've got 2 of the top 10 pitchers in all of the American League on your rotation here in Houston.
Goes out against the Kansas City Royals tonight, a team that has the best record in the American League so far this year, and he's had good success against these guys.
No, he's had great success. What I like to see is him pitching in that gray uniform early in the season against Kansas City. Did a good job in that game. He went 7 1/3 innings here at Kauffman, giving up 2 earned runs. But look at that elevated fastball. That's going to be something that Brent Strom's going to work more into Kazmir's repertoire.
Coming up, Scott Kazmir's arrival in Houston has served notice to the American League that the Astros are dead set on a playoff spot in 2015. How did that message resonate with his new teammates inside of the Astros clubhouse? Julia talks with Dallas Keuchel about it when we come back.
Royals, and they just capped off an exciting homestand when they found out that they were getting Scott Kazmir, the lefty, the big lefty, will be going tonight. I'm with the other lefty, Dallas Keuchel, in this starting rotation for the Houston Astros. It's hot. Are you going to put those on me? Dallas. This is how much fun we have before the game. This is just kind of how loose you guys are these days. I'm going to take them off. But as far as the trade and the acquisition to getting Scott Kazmir? You were one of the ones who was vocal about hoping that the Astros would go out and try to help you guys get better. What were your thoughts when they made the trade?
I like it. I mean, I'm a big fan of his, and the work he's done against the AL West just shows you he's one of the best. And fellow lefty, so I'm nothing but ecstatic for it, and I'm sure he's going to show us what he's got tonight.
The second half of the season, you guys are off to a great start offensively, as well as you guys on the mound, too. How good was that to see for you guys to kind of bounce back after a rough little stretch there right before the break?
Well, you're going to go through those stretches in the course of a 162-game season, so we weren't really too worried about it, and we knew we could play. We could play well. We could play with the best of them. So you're seeing that now, especially after the All-Star break. Guys rest up and kind of get nagging injuries healed up, and we're playing well. So you never know what's going to happen before the deadline anymore, and we're just looking to keep playing well.
Well, as far as this tough stretch you guys are about to face, Angels are around the corner, but this one is starting with Kansas City. What do you guys need to do in order to keep up the kind of play that you guys have been doing lately?
We just got to keep playing well, and it's going to be tough. The Angels won a lot of games last year, and then they're a pretty good team. So we're hoping to stay pace with them, and then with the luxury of that second wild card, it helps out a lot. And I think we're going to play well, and hopefully we can keep playing in that middle of October.
Well, you go Sunday. We start with Kazmir tonight. Here's your glasses back. You might need those. It's hot out here in Kansas City. Thanks for the time, Dallas Keuchel. Don't go anywhere. Lefty Scott Kazmir takes the mound, making his Houston Astros debut. An exciting time for this ball club. We'll be right back on Root Sports.
Absolutely no doubts about their talent or their postseason intentions. Now, with the pennant race reaching critical mass, the Astros have fired the first shots at their playoff target by adding a powerful weapon to an already loaded arsenal. Houston's playoff dreams have come to Kansas City, and the chase begins tonight. Beautiful Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Welcome, everybody, as we start up this three-game series. And as Dallas Keuchel and Julia and everybody have been talking about, it should be a very good one. The Astros have already taken the first 3 meetings against the Royals on the year. That a little earlier in the season back in Houston. And now that starting lineup tonight brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For the Houston Astros, Jose Altuve in the top spot, the hero from yesterday's game. Preston Tucker bats second. He's in left field, followed by shortstop Carlos Correa. Middle 3, Evan Gattis, the DH. In right field, Colby Rasmus. And at third, Luis Valbuena. In the bottom 3, John Singleton gets the start at first. Jason Castro behind the dish. Jake Marisnick is in center.
On the mound for the reigning American League champions, Jeremy Guthrie making his 19th start in the season. He's made 7 career starts against the Astros, has not faced them yet this year. Didn't pitch in that last series when the Astros swept Kansas City Royals.
Well, the first pitch of the night grounded softly back to the mound. Guthrie makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out on the evening.
Defense here at Kauffman Stadium. Paulo Orlando in left, Lorenzo Cain, of course, in center, Alex Rios in right. On the left side, Mike Moustakas at third, Alcides Escobar at second, Omar Infante at second base, Eric Hosmer at first. And behind the plate working with Jeremy Guthrie is Drew Butera.
It is a bit toasty here in Kansas City, 93 degrees at game time. And a 7-10 start as Jeremy Guthrie gets set for his second hitter. Preston Tucker walks in and settles in that box and takes down and away. Close looking pitch. And always key to watch. Both pitchers very conscious of what that strike zone looks like early. Preston Tucker, 8 home runs already now. Takes a strike at the knees.
Some big numbers for Guthrie. ERA 5.36. He's got 102 thirds innings, but only 53 strikeouts on the season. Tells you he pitches to contact. And a lot of contact. Hitters hitting .305 against him this year.
One of the big things with Guthrie through the years is the long ball that he allows. He has given up a load. The guy that started Game 7 of the World Series last year as the curveball grounded foul. It's 2-2 on Preston Tucker. Carlos Correa waits on deck. Didn't even have time to talk about Jose Altuve on that night last night. 4 hits, including the game-winning home run in the 9th inning. Quite a night, and it made for kind of an exciting flight onto Kansas City late into the night. Hot shot right side. That's past the first baseman Hosmer into right field. A 1-out single for Preston Tucker, and it brings up Carlos Correa.
Good swing by Preston. Get a chance to look at the location on the strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson. Elevated fastball right down the middle, and that's what you're supposed to do with it. Barrel it up. Fortunate enough to sneak it past Hosmer. Ball kind of skipped on Hosmer a little bit. Looks like it went under his glove.
Carlos Correa has hit in 8 straight. It's a curveball, maybe off the outside edge, called a strike. Some kind of player. Showed up defensively last night a couple of times in a big way. Hitting .292 on the year. Swings through the heater at 90. It's 0-2.
I think as a guy who has not faced a pitcher in Jeremy Guthrie, the motion sometimes can be a little bit deceptive. Really throws that front side at you. His head almost pulls off the target, and then the arm comes through.
Jeremy Guthrie has pitched 12 years in the big leagues, and he has allowed 234 home runs. That's a lot. Allowed the most one year, 35. That was back in 2009. Strike 3 called inside edge. Carlos Correa caught looking. Second out of the inning. It brings up Evan Gattis.
Offense since the All-Star break. Carlos Correa being on the action. We know that's going to happen. But how about Preston Tucker? That last homestand, the Astro bats came alive. Tell me that 4-day break didn't do them any good. Those guys looked a little beat going into the break. Got a nice rest out of it. A little bit of a workout on Thursday, and they just came out firing in that homestand. Big home runs, resulting in 5 wins on those 6 games.
You and I were on that road trip. The Astros lost the last 6 before the break, 8 of 9, and it was a scuffling team. So you're exactly right. Coming out of that break, they just turned it right back around. The Astros start the day a game back in the American League West. The Angels finally lost a ball game. They're 54-41. The Astros a game back at 54-43. Texas 8.5 behind. Seattle 10.5, and 11 games behind are the Oakland A's. Ground ball third base side. A big hop from Moustakas. He'll fire onto first, and that'll do it. The Astros get a one-out single from Tucker. They strand him through a half an inning of play. A scoreless game. Kazmir going to work it for the Astros. He'll do it against this Kansas City Royals starting lineup with Alcides Escobar on the top spot, followed by third baseman Mike Moustakas and the center fielder Lorenzo Cain. Middle three, Eric Hosmer at first, the DH Kendrys Morales and Alex Rios in right field. And the bottom three, Omar Infante almost made that all-star team. He's the second baseman. Left fielder Paulo Orlando, followed by the catcher Drew Butera.
And making his debut in that Houston Astros uniform, Scott Kazmir. Get a rundown on the left of some of the action that he has on some of those pitches. Youngster, Cypress, Texas. Attended Cy Falls High School. That's where he developed that fastball. Talking to Steve Sparks earlier, he said that he saw some numbers on Kazmir earlier in the season. He can touch 95 when he needs to.
First pitch of the night, grounded up the middle, a base hit. So Alcides Escobar sees a fastball, shoots it up the middle for a base hit. Snaps an 0 for 9 in the process as the Royals get their leadoff man aboard.
Well, they have experience. They faced Kazmir twice already, and I'm sure Kazmir just really wanted to get this pitch somewhere over the plate. Probably pretty excited to be in that Houston Astros uniform. Get that first pitch out of the way, settle down, and go to his game.
Mike Moustakas at the plate. He's had a nice year. First pitch swinging as well, hits a fly ball to left center field. Jake Marisnick with the play. Tagging and bluffing from first base Escobar on out number 1.
Better bluff with that cannon in center field. Don't run on Jake, who's out there in center. Alongside him, Preston Tucker in left, Colby Rasmussen right. Luis Valbuena at third, Carlos Correa at shortstop, working with Altuve over there at second base. John Singleton getting out there at first base, and Jason Castro catching Kazmir's Houston Astros debut.
It was 2002, back in the first round, that Scott Kazmir was drafted by the New York Mets. And he's been around a bit. Fastball in for a strike on Cain. Cain's had a very nice year. Made the All-Star team, hitting .314 and has 10 home runs. Big ballpark here in Kansas City, but this time of year the ball carries much better than early on. Fly ball down the right field side. Right toward the seats, Colby Rasmus, still in foul territory, makes the catch. A couple of fly ball outs, 2 outs. Escobar still at first for Eric Hosmer.
Kazmir will get a lot of fly balls. Throws that four-seamer. Much like Mike Stanton hinted at before the game, he doesn't really have that two-seam runner. He does have it, but doesn't have quite the sink that a Dallas Keuchel does. But I'm kind of curious to see what influence Brent Strom has on him working with the new left-hander. Because we know Brent likes throwing that fastball up in the zone.
Fastball catches the bottom of the knees, 0-1 the count. Hosmer also having a very nice year for these KC Royals, hitting .304. 9 dingers, he's driven in 49. Well, the home numbers this year on Scott Kazmir are remarkable. Good breaking ball for a strike. Pitching at home, and of course that up until this point has been the Oakland Coliseum or the HOU at KCA. ERA of 1.36. Now clearly Scott Kazmir enjoyed pitching in Oakland. And again, the breaking ball, a strikeout, the first for Kazmir as a member of the Astros. He gives up a leadoff single. They strand him. We played 1 inning of scoreless baseball in KC.
TNT Rewind looks back at the first series between these two teams in late June, early July. Went very well for the home-standing Houston Astros. Did a great job sweeping that series, allowing 6 runs. And keep in mind, the first 2 games, Houston Astros pitching only allowed 1 run through those first 2 games. Starter ERA, the Royals took a beating. Blanton taking the loss in the first game. Duffy taking the loss in the second game. And the Astros got to the bullpen in that third game, but some big numbers being put up in a great series against potential postseason teams.
Set for the second inning, Colby Rasmus stands in. And by the way, that was no easy feat sweeping the Royals. The Royals, best record in the American League, 57-37, 20 games over 500, as they lead the Central Division by 6.5 games. Fly ball to right field. They'll drive Rios back a couple of steps. Out number 1 here in the second.
But you really got the sense in that series that the Astros knew how good the Royals bullpen was, and they went on full attack on the starters for the Royals. Worked out perfectly.
And we're through that first inning already, but the Astros may be fortunate to have a scoreless ball game at this point. The Royals have outscored their opposition this year in the first inning, 62-33.
Oof.
Luis Valbuena stands in. 0 for his last 7. Hitting .233. Shift on Luis. And that breaking ball grounded foul. It's 0-2. Valbuena, the 19 home runs this year. That leads the Astros. Leading home run hitting club in the major leagues. And the Astros 3 home runs in their victory last night, capped off with that Altuve dinger in the bottom of the 9th inning. They've had back-to-back games with 3 home runs. And that 5-1 homestand turns out to be the best winning percentage of any homestand on the season for the Astros. So a very good one just concluded by these Astros. A.J. Hinch was great after the ball game to see him hugging Jose Altuve and just the way he handles these guys. That's a great duo together. Trey Hillman, the bench coach. What a fun guy. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. So a 1-out walk here in the second. Has Valbuena aboard for John Singleton. Home and road this year. Pretty varied numbers. Hard to explain. Go ahead. It's your job.
Well, if you remember early on, April, May, they had fantastic road numbers. So I think that's why they might be a little bit similar on that right-hand side, because they got off to such a good start on the road. It's been a little bit different here of late. Still only 5 games under 500. But that's where almost, if you could play 500 on the road and have that kind of home record, you're going to be playing for a long time this year.
First pitch, a curveball is high on Singleton. That brings the catcher Butera out to the mound. Yeah, and you're right. There were some good times early on the road. I think of that West Coast swing starting in Seattle, moving through Oakland down to San Diego. And I believe that was 8 out of 9 on that trip for the club.
They went nuts. Driving the ball out of the ballpark, playing great defense. They were doing everything right.
That was kind of the kickstarter for me. That's where things really got going. Line shot is hit foul down the right side.
No, I agree. I think that has a lot to do with why the Houston Astros are in the position they are right now.
The Astros have had a winning month each month of the season. July, however, they're 1 game under, so got a little work to do. 1-2 now on Singleton. Hitting 184 on his year. He is yet to homer. The Astros went 15-7 in that month of April. Due in good part to that road trip we're talking about.
Absolutely.
16-13 in May. June saw him go 15-14. Off speed, Singleton in front, and 2 outs in the inning. Second strikeout for Guthrie. Brings up Jason Castro.
It's a tough pitch. I believe that was a changeup. And when they throw the changeup inside, your first reaction as a hitter is to clear out that front side because it looks like a fastball. And then you do start your swing and you realize it's a changeup, and you really have sold out so soon that you have no chance.
Frustrating time for Jason Castro, hitting .208. Does have 7 homers. Hits one sharply up the middle. Solid base hit. Going after that first pitch. As we now see Valbuena digging for third base. So runners at the corners. 2 outs for the 9-hitter Jake Marisnick.
Looks like it might be the game plan against Guthrie. Attack that fastball early. We saw Altuve do it. It's a good pitch to hit. If you get a good fastball early in the count and you're ready for it. That's beautiful for Jason Castro. You talked about the struggles he's having at .208. Start the day off with 1 hit. Get greedy that next bat.
Big smile for Jason Castro. Those hits have been hard to come by. And I like the aggressive at bat in particular for Jason Castro, who has found himself looking at a lot of close strikes. Jake Marisnick hitting .229. Jake with 5 homers on the year. A lot of that coming early. Well, the Astros, in going 3-0 to this point against Kansas City, they've outscored the Royals 16-6. Little defensive swing, fouling it off. It's 1-2. Nice crowd on hand, and folks here in the Kansas City area no doubt enjoying what the Royals are putting together this year. 57 wins. That trails only St. Louis in the National League. Cardinals with 61 wins.
They like baseball in this part of the country.
Show Me State is showing a lot of people how to play the game.
And the weather is not a factor.
Ground ball is foul. Sounded like off the hands a bit. Well, if you can play in this kind of weather, you're in good shape and ready to play anywhere.
Wait, Lions Sunday is going to be interesting.
Royals have drawn over 1.6 million to this point. And down on strikes, Marisnick. That'll do it. 3 strikeouts now for Guthrie. Astros strand runners at the corners. It's still scoreless. Game set, Astros and Royals. 2 best records in the American League. Scoreless ball game early on as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. 5-hitter Kendrys Morales leads it off against Scott Kazmir. Just kind of heating up that new Houston uniform. What's it like, Blummer, when you get traded and you're over with a bunch of new guys and they expect to win?
It's a good feeling. It's got to be a great feeling for Kazmir coming over from Oakland. He got a taste of it last year being on that ball club that played so well, but now he's got himself traded into a situation where the Houston Astros could sneak up on the Angels and be the winners of the AL West. It's a great feeling. Something you want to be a part of for sure. Any ball player, and especially even though Kazmir is only 31, he's been around for a while. These are positions you want to be in.
Kendrys Morales hitting .280. They got a big run producer this year. Hits it in the air, right center. Marisnick is there and out number 1. So you would think it would be a lift in the career at this moment, this juncture, for Scott Kazmir to get this chance to come and pitch in Houston.
I think it would go a long way too. I believe this is a contract year for him coming up too. So a lot riding on this for him personally, professionally, and for the Houston Astros. So it could be the perfect mix. And who knows, he pitches well enough, the Astros do well enough, he might be a future Astro after this season.
Spots it off the outside corner. Alex Rios at the plate has hit in 6 straight. Guy who used to provide a lot of home run pop, just 2 homers this year, takes a strike. Kazmir needed just 7 pitches in the first inning. Out there throwing strikes. And the fastball to this point has not been that mid-90s type of fastball that sometimes is talked about with Scott. They get the swing on that check swing by Rios. It's 1-2.
Slow curveball, maybe even a changeup from Kazmir right there.
Left-hander brings it and just misses away. And as soon as we say it, there's 94 on that heater.
It's in the tank. He's got it. A little bit older, a little bit more mature, economical. Saves that for when he needs it.
This is up and in. A full count now. 1 out here in the second inning.
It was interesting to me. It almost looked like Castro set up high, but with that slider.
In the air right center. The Astros had him played perfectly. Marisnick with the play, second of the inning. That's 2 down for Omar Infante.
Take a look at some more pitching numbers. Earned run average amongst your American League leaders. Of course, Dallas Keuchel on top. How about the American League West being represented right now? But what's even more impressive to me is that now in that lower left corner, there's a Houston Astro next to Scott Kazmir. So you've got 2 of the top 5 ERA leaders in the American League in one rotation.
Again, a lot of the great work this year by Scott Kazmir coming in Oakland. Can he match those numbers or come close pitching in Houston? The numbers on the road this year, ERA wise, close to the 4 mark, just under that.
I think the Astro defense will prove him some good. Some of those mistakes he was probably not getting away with in Oakland because the defense wasn't able to back him up. I believe here in Houston the defense will pick him up in some of those situations.
You know, we see a lineup tonight, and Jake Marisnick has been struggling a bit with the bat. But you've got a big ballpark in Kansas City, and Jake's out there in center. And I think for that very reason, to add that defense, go get the baseball. And then you've got Colby Rasmus in right field who can go get it. He has been playing the shallowest right field I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique location for Colby to be in.
Omar Infante, the guy that was leading Jose Altuve in that all-star voting for such a long time, takes outside. Kazmir getting it loose, although a second full count now in the second inning.
Those are good misses too. Not missing by much, nibbling off that edge, trying to get a swing and miss.
Good fastball. Right center again. Long run. Marisnick on the move and dives. Comes up with it. Jake Marisnick. A big time play in right center. And that's exactly what Blummer's talking about. A 1-2-3 inning with a little D. We are scoreless after 2 as you watch Jake Marisnick. raking in July after a tough month of June.
Kid knows how to put the barrel on the ball. How about the home runs? Career high this year, 9 home runs this season. Driving in runs, doing it all, stealing 28 bags on the season. 7 in 17 games.
That one right there is so timely. It was one of those ball games that felt like it got away. And then suddenly he just brings it right back home. Altuve leads off in the 3rd inning. He's hit in 7 straight, 0 for 1 on the night. Took the first pitch and grounded back to the mound.
I just think it's kind of iconic that Altuve gets that game-winning home run. You know, you've still got Carlos Correa, young talent, George Springer hurt, but Altuve is one of those guys that's just kind of been the mainstay. He's always going to be there for you.
No matter how good the other guys coming in might be, Altuve is going to be one of the forces to reckon with.
And he's a grizzled veteran at 25 years old.
Isn't that something? Already a batting title. Takes a strike. It's 3-1. I don't know if you saw the late part of the ball game as the Astros won it, and A.J. Hinch just giving a big hug and maybe even a kiss to Jose Altuve. I mean, it was perfect. Hot shot on a hop at second base. Infante with the play, and out number 1.
I just think it's great that Altuve relishes those opportunities and those moments. You need guys like that on your ball club.
You do. That's been a belief of mine for a long time. I think you need guys that want to drive in the big runs. Preston Tucker is 1 for 1. Hit one sharply under the glove of Hosmer at first base into right field for a base hit. And now the catcher, Sal Butera. Or rather Drew Butera. His dad Sal was a major league catcher for a long time.
You had this happen a lot, right? With J.R. Richard, Nolan Ryan. Just blowing out the web of your glove.
You know what you do? And I don't know if you did it as an infielder, but you double up those danger areas in the glove.
Nice.
And
it's good to know. I didn't know that.
It pretty much saved those moments coming along. So Preston Tucker 1 for 1, hitting .263. Early on here in Kansas City, game 1, pitchers taking over. Ball is hammered on a line, right field and deep, back at the wall, and this one gets out of here. A line shot home run, number 9 for Preston Tucker. And the Astros grab the early lead, 1-0.
Sometimes you can step up in a big moment early in a ball game. Preston Tucker right there driving that one out. It was a clothesline to right field. Great piece of hitting, getting extended, getting around that pitch, but driving it. Talked about the ball carrying good. I don't think there was an issue with this one getting out. 14th home run given up.
Hard to stop lasers, isn't it?
Man, you ain't lying.
391 feet. It really doesn't matter how far. Maybe in this case, how quickly the ball gets out. 1-0 Houston. And that home run continues to be the dominant part of the offense for this club.
I like it. It's fun to watch.
Fun to watch if you're part of the club, too. I never enjoyed anything more than having a team that could kind of rake it and take over with the long ball. Not sure I played with a lot of those clubs. Chopper goes foul.
Get a chance. We're going to look at this in Supermo. You see the changeup. It's brought to you by Mattress Firm. The Supermo, not the changeup. It was very aggressively driven out of the ballpark in a hurry. 391 feet in about, what, 2.5 seconds?
Carlos Correa hitting .290. Was caught looking in the first inning. And draws the walk. Second walk issued to the Astros. Luis Valbuena picked up one in the second.
Kick off your weekends at Minute Maid Park with the best Friday night fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is July 31st when the Astros take on the Diamondbacks. For more info, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Kevin Gaddis at the plate. Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Heading to third base is Carlos Correa, alert base running, and the Astros on the base hit by Gaddis now have runners at the corners, one out, and Colby Rasmus comes to the plate.
Too often you see a ball sneak by Alcides Escobar, but all season long Evan Gaddis has made it his job to go back up the middle the other way, and right here it works out extremely well, recognizing that little bit of a shift is on. 20-year-old youngster rookie making a good choice right there, going first and third. Well, how about you can see how a home run invigorates your offense too.
Oh yeah. Colby Rasmus now stands in. Fly to right field in the second. And Colby has 13 of those home runs that have the Astros leading the major leagues. This home run by Preston Tucker is number 136 for the Astros this year. Oh, 2 the count on Colby. It's a big at bat with that man 90 feet away, one out.
Kind of wonder if Colby feels the same way. May have expanded a little bit, guessing fastball right there.
About 4 or 5 years back, I watched Jeremy Guthrie, and he was bringing 94 to 96 kind of stuff. Getting a little older now and coming up shy in terms of those numbers. Hitting the air, right center field. This is going to drop for a hit. That'll score Correa run number 2 into second base. Gaddis, RBI single Rasmus, and the Astros are on the move, leading it 2-0 in the third.
Quality AB right there from Colby. Got a little bit of a cutter in on the hands, but the ball elevated like that gives him an opportunity to get the bat to it. Hits it off the label, but it's a little piece of sugar right there. Drop shot, RBI, base hit.
Still one out. Luis Valbuena at the plate. Drew a walk in the second. Got as far as third base, but that was it. Fly ball center field. It's handled by Kane. At second base, Evan Gaddis started to move toward third, and then by the time he got back to the bag, no chance to tag. With 2 outs now, John Singleton comes to the plate. Talking about the 136 home runs for the Astros. At the start of play today, the second best team in the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays, had 126. So they're 10 back. That's how good the Astros have been. Is that changeup? Or something off speed.
Would have been a good old-fashioned 12-6er breaking ball. But that's the thing. Young hitters have a tendency to chase that. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Guthrie didn't have to throw that in the zone, knowing he'd get Singleton to chase. Tried to do it again.
.179 the batting average for Singleton. Strikeout victim in the second. Little tapper in front of the plate. It's Guthrie with the play. He'll make it onto first base, and that'll do it for the Astros. But they get a pair in the inning, highlighted by the home run by Preston Tucker, number 9 on the year. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Yeah, they're getting along. Astros fans and Royals fans here in Kansas City. But the Astros getting the best of it. Leading it 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. By the way, that home run by Preston Tucker gives him 4 over the last 4 ball games now. You may recall the Boston series. He hit 1 in game 1, 2 in game 2. He was held hitless in game 3, but right back at that long ball game once again. For Kansas City here in the third inning, 8 here. Paulo Orlando leads it off. He is the left fielder tonight. Hitting .246, just 138 at bats. A ball and a strike.
Oh, that first pitch, a ball? Man.
Kansas City Royals recently had Alex Gordon get hurt. Their everyday left fielder, he's now on the DL. Pitch has popped up on the left side. Foul territory. It's Valbuena calling. And out number 1.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. It'll be brought to you by Miller Lite. Some of that fine defense we've seen from the Houston Astros on the season. That last homestand showed some. Good to see Tucker getting in on the action. This one right here, number 1 on a certain sports channel for play of the night. And then today, Jake Marisnick etching his name into the heart of Scott Kazmir by chasing down that fly ball.
It's the 9-hitter Drew Butera at the plate. Skies one to center field. Back and under is Marisnick. 2 down here in the inning. We go back to the top with Alcides Escobar. Escobar had a base hit in the first inning, grounding one right back up the middle against Kazmir to start his night. Escobar got no further than first base in that inning, though. A couple of fly ball outs followed by a strikeout as Kazmir got through his first inning as a member of the Astros. Strike right there at the knees. Good looking command early on.
Real aggressive in the zone.
These Kansas City Royals have been handled this year by the Yankees, Cardinals, and the Astros. Lost 4 times to each, the Yankees and Cards, 3 times to the Astros. Ground ball left side, tough play, backhand. Correa, the long throw, it's high, and they got him. Back down on the bag in time, John Singleton, and we'll see if this gets reviewed.
Pretty impressive play by Carlos. Kind of had to play back on the ball and create an angle to get that short hop. But the way he planted that foot, knowing how fast Escobar can run, he unleashed the fury, and I think he got the call.
He gets the call, and it stays that way. A 1-2-3 third inning for Scott Kazmir, and a little more D by Carlos Correa.
for all your support this season. All View Deck and Outfield Deck tickets for all Tuesday to Thursday home games are $10 for the rest of July. For more information, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/HTownProud.
Thanks, Julia. 2-0 Houston through 3. Here in the 4th inning. Bottom 3 in the order for the Astros. Actually, starting by number 8, Jason Castro, as John Singleton ended the 3rd inning. It'll be Castro, Marisnick, and Altuve. Jason Castro aggressively after the first pitch he saw in the 2nd inning, had a base hit. So he's 1 for 1 on the night. And a 1-1 count here in the 4th.
Well, he swung at first pitch fastball. Now he's getting a couple off-speed pitches in that 2nd at bat.
It's a warm one in KC. And a 1-2 count on Castro. With that win last night, the Astros, in defeating the Boston Red Sox, picked up the 3-game sweep over Boston. The first time they have swept the Red Sox in history now. So another big part of that homestand that turned out so well.
Tape underneath his top hand.
Yep.
I noticed that the 2nd strike he swung at was a changeup up in the zone. It looked like the barrel kind of dipped under it a little bit. That kind of tells you sometimes that maybe that top hand's having some issues, maybe losing a little bit of strength. But I wonder if that padding has anything to do with Castro's swing.
Fouls it off.
Top
3-2 still.
Off.
Yeah, I wonder if it comes from the catching side of the game. Of course, that being his left hand.
See it right there. A little bit of padding. I don't know if that's just part of the bat or if that's how he likes it or if that's protecting something. Sometimes when you have in that region, it's usually that top hand, maybe a bone bruise on that thumb. Makes it hurt a little bit with contact.
Line drive hit right at Hosmer. And out number 1. So Castro has hit it sharply twice tonight.
That's good to see. Throwing the top hand, barreling that one up. Hosmer may have a bone bruise on his catching hand. That was a bullet.
Jason right down the tunnel, and in a frustrating season, sometimes you hit that line drive for an out. Boy, it is just really tough on the guys. Jake Marisnick at the plate. Struck out to end the 2nd inning. Takes a good breaking ball for a strike. This is one of the guys you'd love to see get it going. So good defensively. 2-1 on Jake.
Good take.
Right-hander Jeremy Guthrie on the hill. Finds the outside edge. It's 2-2. Line drive down the right field side. That's going to drop and go to the wall. Extra bases Marisnick. He's into 2nd. He'll stop there. So Jake Marisnick goes oppo and picks up a double as he bats with 1 out here in the 4th. Double number 10 for Jake.
And Guthrie got to that 2-strike count by throwing a similar fastball. You see that 4th pitch on the strike zone on that outer 3rd. I think that was sitting in the back of Jake Marisnick's mind. Just reach out and touch it. Speed makes that an easy double.
Marisnick in scoring position for Jose Altuve. Altuve 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts tonight after picking up 4 hits, including that game-winning homer last night.
He's 1 home run away from joining that double-digit club.
Runner goes from second. It's a stolen base for Marisnick. And not a good throw from behind the plate by a very good throwing catcher in Drew Butera.
Picked a great pitch to run on. Normally you wouldn't want to see a base runner stealing with a guy like Altuve at the dish. Talked about how he's racking up hits. He racks up a lot of them with runners in scoring position also.
Stolen base number 13 for Jake Marisnick. Caught just 4 times on the year. We've talked about the home runs. The Astros continue to lead in stolen bases. That's number 74 for the club. Little fister, shallow into center field, dropping, and drops for a base hit. That infield drawn in gets that knock and picks up a run. It's 3-0 Houston.
And you give half an RBI to Jake Marisnick. If he doesn't steal that base, that's a second out of this inning right there. Because Jake is on third base, they bring the infield in, and all it takes is a little drop shot for another RBI.
Jose Altuve with 43 RBIs now. And he is certainly a threat to run.
Look at the reaction from Jose. He's like, darn it. And he's like, wait a minute.
That's got a chance. Yeah.
Oh, it's in baseball. Beautiful. By the way, Jason Castro made an out this inning, hitting a ball about 900 miles an hour.
And then that's a hit. And now this shot to left center field for a knock. Coming to the plate, Altuve, the throw on a hop. And he got him. Preston Tucker has his 3rd hit of the night. A double to left field. Jose Altuve trying to score all the way from first base and got gunned down on a perfect relay.
I appreciate that. I think that's a relatively decent time to give it a shot. But how many people in this stadium right now are wishing that Alex Gordon was out there in left field? Gold Glover out there in left. Preston Tucker gets him a fastball up out over the plate. Center cut, drives it the other way. Gets over the head of Orlando. Good job of relaying that ball in. Alex Gordon went down with that groin injury on July 8th.
So that's 2 outs in the inning as the Royals get the out at the plate. Tucker at second for Carlos Correa, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. No look now, but a single home run and double for Preston Tucker.
And again, the Astros offense here playing against a team like the Kansas City Royals, who built their bullpen up to close out games, have an early lead.
Strike on the edge. It's 1-1.
I feel like Correa's having a tough time seeing the ball out of the hand of Guthrie.
He's had times where he's been taking a lot of strikes recently. They come in and get a strike. 1-2 now on Carlos. These teams are not that far apart in a number of categories. In terms of runs per game, the Astros are 4th in the league, trailing Toronto, New York, and Detroit. The Royals right behind them.
Come back in the kitchen. Nope. Thought with that slider they got him the swing and miss on, they might throw that 4-seamer on the inside and freeze him.
Line shot. That's a base hit. Preston Tucker comes to the plate. It's 4-0 Houston. RBI single Carlos Correa and a 9-game hitting streak for Carlos.
I believe that was the 4-seamer that I thought they were going to go to. Just missed the location, left it down the middle. See him setting up in, but this one just stays right over that middle third, maybe inner third, but we know that Carlos can get to it. Cut down with 2 strikes. He still hits a laser to center.
Pitching coach Dave Island briefly out to the mound. So 2 runs here in the inning. And it all started with a 1-out double by Jake Marisnick. That's 9 Houston hits already as Correa gets on board. And now Evan Gattis 1 for 2 at the plate. The Astros are 3 for 6 on the night with runners in scoring position.
Did you see that number that Carlos Correa had with runners in scoring position, 2 outs? He was hitting .467.
He's been the man.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Kid's 20, hitting third. In the show for a second-place team.
Have you watched him play shortstop? Ball and a strike. Evan Gattis hitting .247. Carlos Correa, one of the guys that can run on this club. He was tearing up the minor leagues with stolen bases as well as numerous other categories when he was called up. Minnesota leads over the Yankees in the third inning. 3-0. The Twins on top. Fly ball shallow left center field coming on and making a sliding grab, and then it drops. And everybody's safe. It'll be a base hit for Evan Gattis. Correa into third base. That's the 5th hit of the inning, 10th of the night for the Astros. And they are swinging it very well.
Guthrie's got to be shaking his head. A couple of good pitches, get some blow-up shots that have fallen for base hits, and 2 of them have been for RBIs. But he's doing a good job of locating. The Astros are just doing a better job of finding that greenery out there. And again, Alex Gordon, a proven Gold Glove winner, all-star out there in left field, but has been missing because of that strained groin. It's been put on Orlando, who made a great effort at it.
Bobby Rasmus sends it in the air to left field. That's hauled in by Orlando. That does it for the Astros in the 4th inning. They come up with 5 hits and 2 runs, lead at 4-0.
Is Dollar Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. The next Dollar Hot Dog Buffet is Wednesday, July 29th, when the Astros take on the Angels. For more info, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Scott Kazmir made it to town yesterday, kind of a whirlwind day for him as he was traded. The news coming out about noon and then arriving here. He was actually scheduled to start for the A's yesterday, so a conversation was needed to be had between A.J. Hinch and Scott Kazmir just on how he felt as far as his day and his travel, and then starting today on 1 extra day of rest. He said the best thing for him was just to get out there and compete for his new team. He's meeting a lot of these guys for the very first time, including Jason Castro, who's behind the plate tonight. Castro saying, I just met him 30 minutes ago. We did have our pitchers and catchers meeting, though, so we feel good about our game plan tonight. So that was good coming in. Also, guys, good to see after that first inning coming into the dugout. Lots of fist bumps, lots of smiles after that scoreless first. Just kind of a good welcoming for the Astros. new teammate.
Thanks, Julia. And Scott Kazmir has been sharp. That always helps in a lot of ways between catcher and pitcher. If you can put down the number and it's thrown in a good spot, makes it very easy.
And another good way to endear yourself to your ball club is to go out there and put up a couple of shutout innings too.
He's put up 3 of them to this point. 4-0 Houston. Preston Tucker has 3 hits on the night. He is a triple shy of the cycle already. Line drive center field dropping. It's in front of Marisnick, and somehow he keeps it in front. It's a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. Mike Moustakas is aboard for Lorenzo Cain.
Good grief. I thought that was a for sure knock. Marisnick turned that almost into an out, but I'm with you, Ash. I'm impressed he just kept this ball in front.
You know, it's one thing to be aggressive and come after balls, but then when you do and you realize you might have made a mistake, keeping the ball there, that's tough.
Went into full body block.
Lorenzo Cain at the plate. Hitting .313. Kazmir struck out just 1. That was Hosmer to end the 1st inning. But this has been, what would you label this tonight? Just real good, sharp baseball by Scott Kazmir.
Ooh. Got that being a pretty good pitch.
Very close. It's 2-0.
Just off the edge.
Pittsburgh Pirates lead 6-5 over Washington. That was Max Scherzer starting. He got roughed up a bit. 5 earnings in 5 innings. Two balls and a strike on Cain. You know, we were talking about that homestand for the Astros, hitting .294, I believe the figure was. 10 hits through 4 innings for Houston. And now 2-2 the count. Boston Red Sox did not leave Houston last night. They left this morning. They're back at Fenway now, hosting the Tigers in the 7th inning, a 1-1 game. Justin Verlander hooking up against Rick Porcello. Hot shot is foul. It stays at 2-2. White Sox are leading 2-0 at Cleveland in the 8th inning now. Jose Quintana shutting out the Indians, and Corey Kluber. Kluber 7 innings of 2-run ball, and he's behind against Chicago. Fly ball easy in center field. Marisnick glides to right center. And the first out here in the 4th.
Houston Methodist is going to help us get to know that man right there. Newbie Scott Kazmir, born in Houston, attended Cy Falls. Senior year he did okay. .37 ERA. Made him the 1st round pick of the New York Mets. Added the changeup on advice from James Shields, and that's a guy with a great changeup. Advice well taken, and now he's starting to execute. You saw right there to Lorenzo Cain.
Eric Hosmer at the plate, the only man that Kazmir has struck out tonight. When I think of the Kansas City Royals playing in this big ballpark, think of a team generally that doesn't hit many home runs, and that's been the case this year. They're 13th in the league, 76 homers. But I think of a team that runs a lot. Royals have stolen 59. They're 3rd in the league in that category.
It's It'll be tough to do against Kazmir being left-handed, and also Castro behind the plate, who's been successful at throwing base runners out this year. Tough combination to run on. You know what? I think that was a changeup.
Almost had that slide to his glove side a little bit, but I think you're right.
Kind of yanked it, but I was curious about that, knowing that changeup has been an effective pitch for him. Is he willing to throw it to left-handed hitters? Because usually they don't like throwing that changeup left on left because it tails back to those left-handed hitters.
Brings a strike. It's 3-1. Waiting on deck, the DH, switch hitting Kendrys Morales.
Good fastball at 93. See if he tries to do it again here. 3-1.
Royals have really gotten a turnaround this year out of Mike Moustakas. Eric Hosmer having a fine year. And now 3-2 on Hosmer.
That's what's good about Kazmir's fastball for me, is that he can pitch at 90, 91. And when you're pitching at that velocity, the hitter's kind of geared towards that. When you can reach back and get 2 or 3 more miles an hour, that's what creates that foul ball.
Moustakas does not go, and it's just inside. 1-out walk. First walk issued by Kazmir. Runners at first and second for Morales.
Kazmir upset with himself. He felt like he'd lost Hosmer right there. Battled back into that count, getting to 3-2. Just lost that fastball. Of course, you'd like to get out of it. Kendrys Morales, a double play candidate, but right now you're just trying to minimize damage and get that offense back in that dugout swinging again.
First inning, the Royals have had more than one base runner, and they had only had one prior to this inning. That was back in the first. Shift on the infield. 3 infielders on the left side. It's a ball and a strike on Morales. Dangerous hitter with 12 homers. He's driven in 65.
Kind of interesting not to see Salvador Perez in there behind home plate. The left-hander Kazmir on the mound, leading the Royals with 15 bombs.
Go back to second. It gets away from Altuve. Not far enough for anybody to move up. Now you get a glimpse of Kazmir, maybe an aggressive pitcher. By the way, the 65 RBIs for Kendrys Morales ties for the best in the American League with Mark Teixeira, Jose Bautista, and Josh Donaldson. With that slide step, a nice fastball on the outside edge. It's 1-2.
Yeah, if you're a hitter that has a little bit of a hitch or a leg kick or a toe tap, and a pitcher comes at you with a slide step and pumps 94 by you, it's real tough to get your timing down.
The 1-2. Now he's working both sides of the plate. He's changing speeds.
Just got a note that said Ned Yost is going to rest Salvador Perez tonight, Lorenzo Cain tomorrow, Hosmer and Moustakas on Sunday. Kind of interesting so soon after the All-Star break.
Fly ball to right. Rasmus will track it back and make the catch. Tagging from second is Moustakas. He moves to third. 2 down runners at the corners for Alex Rios. Of course, you keep in mind that for the Kansas City Royals. Not many guys got the All-Star break off.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Rios flied to center field in the second.
Also important to note that the Royals don't have a day off until August 3rd. My goodness. So Kazmir stretching that hamstring. Wonder if he's cramping up a little bit. Extremely humid evening here in Kansas City.
Oh, and 1 the count on Rios.
That was a changeup out of his hand. I was curious to see it because I thought the rotation was kind of coming back towards right-handed hitters. But apparently that's how he throws it. Gets away with one up in the zone right there to get that second out. So it's a little bit for us to get used to what Kazmir has.
Good fastball, but misses away. Ball and a strike. Alex Rios, the 6th hitter for KC. Is that the change? It almost has to be, right?
I would imagine, yeah, because I mean 72 miles an hour. He's taking a lot of heat off that changeup. Has a good one. Still has that same arm action.
I think he may just be getting around it a bit, and it kind of glides to the right, to the glove side of Kazmir.
Well, his hands got to be soaking wet too.
Yeah.
Who knows if that has an effect on the grip too.
Does here in the booth. Changeup hit in the air to center field. Marisnik is there, and that'll do it. Couple of fly balls to get the Royals. They leave a pair. It's 4-0 Houston after 4. That the 2007 season would be his last. He did that on July 24th, 2007. He promptly celebrated the announcement with a grand slam to help beat the Dodgers. July 24th was a good date for Biggio as he hit 2 of his career 4 grand slams on that date over his career. And earlier today in Cooperstown, got some shots of some of the stuff going on.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, right there on top, Randy Johnson.
Great. A lot of Houston fans there celebrating the first Houston Astro to go into the Hall of Fame.
It's a really great class they have this year.
Oh, yeah, it is.
John Smoltz on there as well.
Yeah,
I thought we were getting ready for the Masters there for a second. Lovely red flowers and everything going on.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Great setting for the Baseball Hall of Fame, but on Twitter, the Baseball Hall of Fame Twitter account's doing a great job of having some live conversations with these guys going in. A lot of questions being asked. A lot of good photographs of Houston fans with some of the memorabilia that's in there. Really good stuff. Great weekend.
One guy we didn't mention, Pedro Martinez. There's a drive to center field. That ball's hit pretty well. Going back, Kane. He's on the track just shy of the wall and makes the running grab. Well, I guess that was hit well. 410 to straightaway center.
May not have been out of Minute Maid Park, but this ball was well struck. Ball down. Valbuena put a good charge into it. Lorenzo Cain knows his territory, did a good job of checking out that wall, knowing he had enough space to go get that. Picked up Guthrie on another well hit ball by a Houston Astro hitter.
One out, it brings up Singleton. John hitting 175. 0 for 2 on his night. He has struck out and grounded out. John deemed to have gone through. It's 0-2. Hey, you're not going to get the benefit of many of those calls until you show some success in the big leagues. Shift on. As that 0-2 again, the breaking ball.
And you got to give Guthrie credit too. He's going to keep attacking Singleton with pitches that are not in the zone if he continues to chase.
Just inside. 2-2 the count. Dodgers lead over the Mets in the 8th inning in New York, 7-2. John Neese for the Mets got roughed up. 6 earnings in 3 innings. Hot shot, but he hooks it foul.
Nice play by Lance. It's got to be a tough decision on who you give that foul ball to.
Now Lance looks like about the age where he could have been named after one Lance, your old teammate.
The Killer Bees.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something? The Killer Bees get all voted into the Hall of Fame. Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman.
What's your opinion?
I'd vote for all 3 of them. It's a no-brainer.
For me as well, yeah.
Would they have their little section in the Hall of Fame called the Beehive?
Oh, ooh, that'd be nice.
Got to start the marketing campaign now.
Chopper foul. Bagwell and Berkman still waiting to find out. We're 1 out here in the 5th inning. The Astros put 2 on the board in the 3rd inning. RBIs from Preston Tucker and Colby Rasmus. Preston Tucker slamming his 9th home run of the year. That jump started things. And then 2 runs in the 4th inning. Jose Altuve drove in a run with a little blown up bat looper that dropped about at the back of the infield with that infield drawn in. Jake Marisnick had doubled and stolen third base and set it up. And then Carlos Correa with a shot up the middle for a base hit, driving in a run.
Singleton seen everything Guthrie has to offer. Now it's just a matter of Guthrie making a mistake and Singleton able to find some open space out there to drive it through.
Popped up. Shallow and left with that shift on, a little bit tricky. Moustakas gives way and Orlando makes the play. 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Celebrate Craig Biggio at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend presented by Coca-Cola from July 31st to August 2nd. Giveaways throughout the weekend include a Biggio Hall of Fame bobblehead, a replica pinstripe jersey, and a replica Hall of Fame plaque, each to 10,000 fans. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. It's going to be a good weekend.
Castro hits the first pitch in the air, center field. That's hit fairly well. But there to make the play is Kane, and that'll do it. 3 fly balls in the 5th inning, a 1-2-3 frame. It's 4-0. Astros on top. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Such a beautiful ballpark, and then you add the sunset to it, and the Astros 4-0 lead. How can it get better, Blummer?
We could be sitting in those fountains right now. It'd be a lot better.
Oh, that would be nice.
There we go. Splash down.
Highway 70 is right back behind there, and you drive by and you can see in. It's quite a gorgeous sight. Highway 70 in this local area, named after George Brett now.
Because of the pine tar incident?
Well, I don't know, but I think we learned that today is the date of that whole thing. Might we be able to see George Brett in the pine tar incident?
To the date, 32 years ago.
Omar Infante leads it off, has a 1-1 count. Scott Kazmir, very good through 4 innings. He has yielded just 2 singles. He's walked 1 man. And that changeup is getting a lot of play.
Yeah, he's really doing a good job of it. Pitches by innings, 7 in the first, 14 in the second, 7 in the third. Had a pitch out of some trouble last inning through 24 pitches. But really getting after that strike zone. 37 strikes out of 55 pitches.
They have done an amazing job here in Kansas City keeping this ballpark in the condition it's currently in. It's gorgeous. They opened the stadium in 1973, had the All-Star game that year, and again in 2012. And among the beautiful ballparks, this is certainly right in that conversation.
I agree. I was talking to broadcasters across the way, and they said that when they did the renovations here, there was thoughts of moving the press, or at least the broadcast booths, up a little bit higher. Me, for one, I'm glad they kept them where they're at, because we've got a great vantage point from where we're at.
Yeah, it is nice. It's right about where the Minute Maid Ballpark has the broadcast area. Might be just a skosh closer. Little looper in left center field. That's dropping for a hit. 3rd hit of the night for the Royals. Leadoff single by Infante. That'll bring up the 8-hitter, Paulo Orlando. You ask for pine tar, you get pine tar.
Darn right we do. 32 years ago today. Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire. Let's have a meeting and measure this out, boys. So you say that pine tar is too much, it's above the label. I'm not sure I should do this, but I think I'm going to call George Brett out. And here comes the fury. That never gets old. Didn't somebody ask him how would you react if that same situation happened? He said he'd do it the same way every time.
I don't blame him. You know, he hit a lot more home runs than I hit, but they still obviously meant the same thing to him. You try to take away a home run, and
oh man,
that is fighting time.
You ain't lying. I don't care if you've got one in the big leagues or 700. They all mean something.
Number 5, George Brett. One of the greats.
That home run actually was protested and reinstated.
And then they had to pick up the game from that point, and they played later in August that season.
August 18th, yeah. So it happened on July 24th. They came back August 18th and had to continue the game from the point of that home run.
Billy Martin, the manager of the New York Yankees, decided to show up Major League Baseball, it would seem, a little bit. Put some pitchers in the outfield, and
not just any pitchers. He had Ron Guidry in center field to start that rest of that game.
Wow.
Don Mattingly moved from first base to second base.
1-2 the count now on Orlando.
It's good stuff. Can you name the pitcher that gave up that home run?
It wasn't Catfish Hunter, was it?
Nope. Good guess, though.
And down on strikes is Orlando. Second strikeout for Kazmir. That's the first out in the 5th inning. Brings up the 9-hitter Drew Butera. I have no visual image of who was on the hill. Oh no, late in the ball game. Yeah, well, see, in those days closers didn't pitch just the 9th inning. So Goose Gossage was on, huh?
How about that?
Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
So he was going to pick up one of those 3-inning closeout jobs. Mentioning Catfish Hunter, George Brett hit 3 home runs against Catfish in the '78 ALCS.
Talk about that changeup. This is a good one right here. Pulls a string. It's actually one of the nastier ones we've seen.
Hey, you can see that grip, so that confirms changeup, and it does drift a little bit. Looks like, anyway. Butera 0 for 1, flied out. Boy, that fastball looks alive after the change. Butera hitting just 190. Mentioned he's a really good catcher. Can throw with the best of them. And another strikeout. 2 in the inning, 3 on the evening now as Kazmir.
See that? 95.
So he's been up to 94 a number of times, now 95.
How about that?
He's flat bringing it.
That's a good sign if you're an Astro fan. And how about the contact against Kazmir? We talk about how well Dallas Keuchel avoids the barrel of the bat. Doesn't give up many hard hits. The 3 hits they have today have not really been struck all that well off of Scott Kazmir.
Ground ball is foul. Kazmir, 31 years of age. And that is still a relatively young man in this game.
It really is, and the experience he has.
You know that it was 2012 that saw Scott Kazmir pitching for the Sugarland Skeeters. He was out of the major leagues. And for the Skeeters, he went 3-6 with a 5.34 ERA. It's not like he just tore that league up, but he got healthy, and here he is, and looking like he is a gem in this Astros rotation.
Look at some of the numbers on that changeup. Let's see, in 2013, the whip percentage right around 30, but he's gotten so much better at it over the last couple of years. He's raised that 7%, but the average against that changeup, 250 early on when he was first learning it, obviously mastering it, dropping that average way down. Man,
boy,
that make him earn it.
That was well spotted. 2-1 the count.
You can open it up for a seam, can't you?
One seam on that line, and that's a strike.
Goodness.
2-1 the count. And now 2-2.
Makeup call. We've seen more pitches called down in the zone over the plate than we have off the edges. That one caught enough. Caught as much as that pitch before.
It's got 3 seams in the strike zone. Two outs on punch outs here in the 5th. Leadoff man Alcides Escobar at the plate. Picked up a base hit back in the 1st inning. Change up, grounded and handled. Singleton with the play, takes it himself to the bag, and that'll do it. A leadoff single in the 5th inning, but that is stranded. It's 4-0 Houston.
Called Name That Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Here's some clues, and we'll answer this later in the game. Childhood friend Tino Martinez, 5-time All-Star, 1-time Silver Slugger. Once he won the Home Run Derby at Safeco Field. Tweet your guesses to Ash and Blummer. And like I said, we'll show you later who it is. Guys, you know who I'm talking about?
We do. Yes. Yeah, we do.
You guys are so good.
We were talking about this around the dinner table tonight.
We've had ample time to think about it.
Julia, you would have gotten that one quickly, right?
Well, I've got the answer right in front of me, so I'm cheating a little bit. So, yeah, I'm all over it.
Jake Marisnick had the answer back in the 4th inning as he doubled down the right field side, his 10th on the year, and scored run number 3. Really set it up with his speed.
This was a back-to-back fastball from Guthrie in that last at-bat that he shot down that right field line. Jake took it. The first one then punched it, but this one, how about this? This is an RBI base hit in the major leagues, fresh off the label. That goes down a hero.
You know, when you talk about as a major league hitter what you should be hitting on a given season, you never mention those soft hits. There's another hit for Jake Marisnick. He gets it leading off the 6th inning, and Jake is 2 for 3.
Cash, you hinted at how well he's been swinging it in July. 17 games. Kind of an interesting hot zone there, down the middle and down and in, down and away. But pulling a lot more pitches. We saw that a lot last year when he was really going well. He was turning on the ball a little bit more, being challenged, but still able to spray the ball all over the place and handle pitches all over the zone, in and out.
1 for 3 on the night. Hits it in the air, foul down the right field side, back to the seats. So we've mentioned already that Altuve, with that home run to win the game last night, the walk-off, had his 9th of the year. Last year, while he won the American League's batting title at .341, he slammed 7 home runs. I don't know, is he becoming more the home run hitter now? And of course, we jest a bit, but still hitting over 300. That's close at first base. Jeremy Guthrie with some very quick feet. Royals are kind of taking a little time right here to maybe review that play, and they're going to ask that it be reviewed. But apparently Kansas City believes they got Marisnick on that pickoff throw. So they will go through the process.
It's good to see Salvador Perez doing something in that dugout. Probably not your typical guy to go down and ask about a replay review, but everybody involved down there.
As they check it out, 11 hits on the night for the Astros, just 3 for the Royals against Scott Kazmir, and now we get our peak.
Got him.
Yeah, looks like it. Can't really see the fingers of Marisnick.
Tags on the shoulder before that hand gets in from that first angle we saw.
You know, that's one of the big reasons why a left-handed first baseman has such a big advantage over the righties. They continue to review. What goes through the mind of a guy like Marisnick right now?
How do I look cool going off the field?
Well, he will go off the field, and we'll check to see if he can look cool doing it, but that's out number 1. It's a pickoff of Jake Marisnick.
Good call. And you're right, had luxury having that left-handed first baseman just able to drop that tag on him.
One out, 0-1 the count. Fly ball to center field, so it's going to turn things around very quickly. 2 outs and nobody on as Preston Tucker comes to the plate. 3 for 3, a single, a home run, his 9th on the year. That came in the 3rd, and then a double that came in the 4th inning. And so looking for that triple to complete the cycle.
Good ballpark to do it in. I think he was in there talking to Evan Gattis, getting any tips on how to get those triples.
Evan Gattis, the man with 5 3-baggers for the Astros this year. Does that make sense to you?
It's not the number I predicted early on in the season.
Hey, by the way, talk about numbers. Preston Tucker's hitting .270.
200 ABs right on the nose.
Has a ball and a strike. A little cut job inside.
You know who the career leader in triples for the Royals is?
I would probably quickly guess Willie Wilson. No. Fly ball to center field. This should be easy. Kane puts it away. That'll do it. Just 3 hitters come to the plate despite the leadoff single by Marisnick. 4-0 Houston.
Here's a look at the Astros' tough upcoming schedule presented by Progressive. 2 more here in Kansas City. That Sunday game is going to be a burner, nice and warm and humid on that day game before they get to head back home. Have that day off in Houston before starting a tough matchup with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. We'll see if the Astros can catch them and maybe take advantage of playing those games against them. And then it'll be the NL West coming to town with the Arizona Diamondbacks before heading out on a 10-game road trip. Or, I'm sorry, what is that, 8-game or 9-game?
It's a 9-game trip. It's 10 days, 7 of which are in San Francisco.
So back in the American League West, Texas, Oakland, and then 2 in San Francisco on that trip.
I don't ever recall spending a week in one city on a road trip.
That's bizarre. Well, when did they have the Republican convention?
Yeah, that was 1992 maybe.
Because that was one of those ridiculous 24-game road trips.
Yeah, but I don't think they ever spent that long in one city. Yeah,
pretty unique with the interleague being able to play Oakland and San Francisco.
Ball and a strike for the Royals here in the 6th inning. Mike Moustakas leads it off, 1 for 2 on his night. Scott Kazmir threw 5 innings, 70 pitches. Really ideal so far tonight for Scott Kazmir. Popped up shallow into left center field. It's Marisnik with the call, and the catch. 1 out here in the 6th. By the way, Blummer mentioned the upcoming games, 2 more with the Royals. Tomorrow a 6:10 start. That's Scott Feldman against left-hander Danny Duffy. And then on Sunday, to close out the very brief trip, a 1:10 start. Dallas Keuchel back to the mound, going after his 13th win of the year against Yordano Ventura. Lorenzo Cain at the plate, 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts. And he pops it up shallow into center field. It's Altuve calling, peeling off Marisnik, and there's the 2nd out of the inning. So Kazmir continues to get quick and, well, can't call them easy, but quick outs.
Pitching real effective in the strike zone early in counts, getting ahead of these Royal hitters. Good defense behind him.
Eric Hosmer at the plate, struck out and walked. By the way, the folks are coming in with the right answer right away, so even if Julia didn't know it, folks at home do.
No, everybody at home is doing a great job, and I appreciate them tweeting it in too.
Austin Perez and Rolando. You know what, though? I had to think about it just briefly about an Astros player who won the home run derby.
Yeah.
That didn't ring a bell for me right away.
Well, did he win it as an Astro?
That's correct. He did not.
There's been plenty of Astros with plenty of thump. You know, Bagwell was in there in '99, I believe, out in Boston in the home run derby.
Is that the year that Mark McGwire just set the world on fire?
Yeah, I mean, they were hitting them over the highway out there in left field.
Of course, Lance Berkman had the big year.
And it made against Miguel Tejada.
2005, was it? What year was that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Miguel Tejada won it, but Lance Berkman put on quite a show. Fly ball left center field. Marisnik on the move, but it's Tucker with the play. 3 balls hit in the air, 1-2-3 inning. Kazmir gets through it and leads it 4-0.
Hey, we're naming that Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. And we gave you the clues. There he is, Luis Gonzalez. Gonzo. Guys, were you talking smack to me earlier about this?
Yes. No, we were just talking reality.
Like it is.
Smack is.
Take a guess when I have the answer right.
Smack is when you can't back it up.
Wow,
This got real.
This is getting dangerous up here.
Now we know
Somebody
you know
locked
all
the
of
door
them,
to the
Julia.
booth.
Yeah.
Like coming in the back door and knock you upside the head.
We need to let Julia come up with one of these. Who's the Astro guys?
The answer will be like Carlos Correa or something. Really
All right.
sneaky.
Challenge accepted. I'll
Really
come up with
I think she could come up with something really tough. You know what? And we've really been challenged to come up with a tough one.
Well, you could be tough, but you don't want to be out of control where you're just going to name a guy that played for a month and a half for the
I'm good with
45s.
I'm good with that. Carol Hardy. I honestly, last night I had never heard of that name, and what a great story. Carlos Correa hits a little tapper in front of the plate. Jeremy Guthrie with the play, and out number 1 here in the 7th inning. Correa's 1 for 3.
Is that Laurel and Hardy?
Now, I don't know that was it, because this Hardy played in the NFL and caught 4 touchdown passes one year.
That's pretty Hardy.
You don't say.
Oh, that's good stuff.
With 1 out, it brings up Evan Gattis. He's 2 for 3. 11 Houston hits on the night. The Astros have left 7 base runners. The Royals just 4, but Scott Kazmir hasn't allowed many base runners. Ground ball to third. Tough little short hop from Moustakas. He'll get the out, and that's Moose you hear from the fans.
Follow the Astros all season with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet.
Brings up Colby Rasmus, who's 1 for 3, RBI single in the 3rd inning. Colby taking all the way, takes a strike. Baltimore trailing at Tampa Bay now in the 9th inning, 3-1. Rays lead it behind Chris Archer, who has been really good this year. 6 innings of 1-run baseball tonight. Chris Tillman went 7 for Baltimore, 1 run. Now 7-2 Dodgers over the Mets in New York. That in the 8th. White Sox lead at 6-0 at Cleveland now. Little tapper to first. Hosmer takes it to the bag as he feeds on instead to Guthrie. A 1-2-3 7th.
come out of here winning, what did we win, 5 out of 6, after the break. And then obviously we have our newest member of our team will be, on the mound tomorrow, which everybody will be excited about. So, we've played some good baseball these first 2 series. We now go on the road. We'll be back home in a few days. We need to continue to play good baseball to keep propelling this thing forward. And when you win games like this, it breeds all the confidence in the world.
That was the Astros skipper. This team was really riding high as they got on that flight. Happy flight, thanks to HOU Altuve with the walk-off home run. But with the acquisition and the trade of getting Scott Kazmir, very happy clubhouse, very excited to see the front office and the Astros doing what they can to make this team even better. They know they're good. They know they can compete. But the fact that they've got the support of the front office, they're really excited about that. Colin McHugh, very excited yesterday, saying the starting staff was good to begin with. I can't imagine it getting better. It's just a lot of fun in this clubhouse, and we really believe that now we knew we could win, but now this is the fun part. This is when we can really put on a show for our fans.
Thanks, Julian. It's all so very true as Scott Kazmir is getting it done on the field here in the 7th inning, leading 4-0, facing the 5, 6, 7 spots for KC. Kendrys Morales at the plate, and a very close pitch called a ball. It's 1-1.
There's been quite a few of those.
You were talking, Blummer, before the ball game about what it means to get a Scott Kazmir when you're playing as well as the Astros are, and certainly a chance to win the West in the American League. As you see the ground ball to shortstop, little jam shot from Morales, and out number 1. But then you see him go out on the mound and pitch like this. How much more does that mean to the club?
It means a ton. But how about Kazmir coming in a situation knowing he's coming into a team that's competing for the pennant and doing what he's doing? He looks awfully comfortable out there for me in this atmosphere with that uniform on and in that clubhouse. I think the way the Astros have taken to him is kind of reflected on how well he's pitching tonight.
With 1 out, he faces Alex Rios, who takes a strike. Of course, Kazmir had to get all the travel done yesterday. He gets word, travels on to KC, and then pitches that day. Is that tough, or maybe even better to just go ahead and get out there and get it done immediately?
It depends on the personality. I'm sure Kazmir didn't want to, being a starting pitcher, I'm sure Kazmir didn't want to miss too many days in between his starts. These guys are very routine oriented. Got out here yesterday, get acclimated, and coming from the situation he was in, this is probably something he really wanted to do. And I think you heard it in some of the interviews, almost like a dream come true to be able to put that Astros star on his chest and go out there and pitch for him. So there's a lot of positives in this move for both the Astros and for Scott Kazmir.
Ground ball left side. Valbuena with the play, and 2 down here in the 7th.
And give a lot of credit to this Houston Astros clubhouse for welcoming a guy like Kazmir in. They've been trying to beat up on him for the last 2 or 3 years, and now he's in their clubhouse and they welcome him with open arms. That has a lot to do with how a guy handles a trade too.
And I think that I don't know if you call it a rivalry, but that head-up battle with the Oakland A's over the past couple of years, it's been pretty intense at times.
And not in the Astros' favor.
You're right. A's have had it their way, although the Astros have turned that around this year. Infante is 1 for 2 tonight as a 1-1 count. The Astros are 6-3 this year against the Oakland A's, and so it's a ball club that is starting to establish being a much better club now in the American League West.
Well, we talked about, what kind of message does it send to the Astros clubhouse? What kind of message does it send to Astro fans? How about the message it sends to the rest of the American League West?
Yeah.
Hey, these guys are in contention, and they went out and made a move to get a contending pitcher. I think that says something right there. Another good changeup. way out in front.
Oh, that's just not even close.
That's guessing completely wrong.
Kazmir with a 1-2 count on Infante. Changeup just floats away.
Gotta love the fearlessness, too, of the Astros front office to go out there and make a move.
Shallow fly ball. It's Correa calling in left field. And that'll be another 1-2-3 inning. That's 9 in a row retired by Scott Kazmir. And the Astros lead it.
Out, leaving this game with a 4-0 lead. Did a great job. Time now for our AT&T call to the bullpen. For the Kansas City Royals, it's going to be Franklin Morales, left-hander, the only left-hander they have in that bullpen. Making his 40th appearance. Good ERA around 2.35. He's only given up 1 home run in those 38 1/3 innings. Doing good work out of that potent Kansas City Royals bullpen.
That Royals pen has been #1 in the league all year long. The Astros have been in the 2 spot most all of the season. And I don't know, is it bullpens now that become the way you get yourself into postseason play?
Well, it kind of makes you wonder, do you bulk up so much on your bullpen that you forget about the starting staff that has to shut teams down in order to use that bullpen?
Well, here's a thought, and I think you nail it there, because I think really good starting staffs that go deep into ball games help make very good bullpens. Now, I don't know that that's been the case for KC this year, but I think in general that's the way you make a bullpen strong and healthy.
Well, I think we've seen that proven true by what the Astros are doing. They did improve their bullpen, but I think their starting staff being able to push those guys deeper into games has made them a much more effective.
Franklin Morales has been in the big leagues now 9 years. Came up with Colorado in 2007. 22-27 lifetime with a 4.5 ERA. When it's all said and done, Jeremy Guthrie did a nice job for KC.
Really did, because that could have been a lot uglier than it looks on the scoreboard right now. 11 hits, only giving up 4 runs.
Yep.
Left 7 on base.
Now, the 4 runs came in the 3rd and 4th innings, so it was fairly early on. But getting through 7 innings, that just changes things in a positive way for the bullpen. Luis Valbuena has walked and flied out twice. Orlando settles under, and that'll be 3 times that Valbuena has flied out. And Chris Carter has grabbed a bat. He will swing it for John Singleton here in the 8th inning. John Singleton went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Chad Qualls getting loose in the Astros pen in right field. So 1 out. Carter at the plate. And he will take over defensively for Singleton. Carter takes inside. Ball on a strike on Chris. Carter hitting 187. 16 home runs. Morales has been effective for the Royals this year. 29 hits allowed in 38 and now 2/3 innings. And a 1-2 count on Carter. Fourth strikeout against the Astros tonight. Carter down on strikes. It brings up Jason Castro. Astros 1 for 3. He has stung it twice tonight. Curveball stays inside. Minnesota now leading 5-0 over the Yankees. Angels are finally underway. They're hosting the Texas Rangers. That's a scoreless ball game through 1 inning. On the mound for the Angels tonight, it's Nick Tropiano. You might recall that name. Pitched in September for the Astros last year and pitched well. And went over to the Angels in the Hank Conger deal. Colby Lewis pitching for the Texas Rangers. We'll keep an eye on that game.
Josh Hamilton making his debut back there.
That's right. Ground ball to first. Hosmer takes it to the bag. And a 1-2-3 8th inning. It's 4-0 Houston.
And his Astros debut, of course, it's going to be Scott Kazmir. 7 innings, 3 softly hit hits. No runs given up, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, using that defense behind him, which was a beautiful thing, and I'm sure much to the delight of Scott Kazmir. Changeup was working well, didn't have to throw too many sliders, but when he did, was quite effective. A lot of high fives and a Kazmir-like performance for Scott Kazmir.
Yeah, it just was kind of workmanlike. I mean, he just kind of
didn't look like he put much effort into it. Just went about his business, like you said, throwing strikes and using that defense.
Yeah, talking about the defense change, Chris Carter is now at first base, taking over for John Singleton. Carter came on as a pinch hitter for Singleton. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Chad Qualls on to work it.
Making his 34th appearance. Lefty's having a tough time trying to drive some of those numbers down.
The first offering from Qualls, grounded to third. It's a foul ball just outside of the bag.
That hit Orlando's foot.
You know, I think Orlando is making that contention right now, and that could have served to be not exactly what he needed. That ball was close at third. Orlando, the 8 hitter. He'll be followed by the 9 spot, Drew Butera. And then back to the top, Alcides Escobar. You tell me, does it feel like when you're in contention that every series starts becoming a big one?
No, I think it was that second game against Texas when the benches cleared. And a lot of the quotes after the game were, you know, intensity means a lot. But I think everything, if you're in contention after the All-Star break, I think it elevates everything. The intensity, every pitch. But I think it's a great thing. It's something you can really thrive off of, and it looks like some of these young kids for the Houston Astros realize the situation and are taking full advantage of it and enjoying it. And I actually got a chance to go down and congratulate Dallas Keuchel on his All-Star performance and asked him what it was like to start in that All-Star game, and he had mentioned it was almost playoff-like. He's never been, he said, but you know, he had the emotions of a playoff start, and I think that's a good thing for him to get under his belt and out of the way, because they're headed that way.
Down on strikes, Orlando to start the inning. So Qualls comes on, gets a strikeout. He'll face Drew Butera.
But you played in pennant races too.
I had the feeling that once you establish yourself as a team that has a chance to win the division, you get in that second half of the season, and every game, it's that one game you can control. So it's big. And every series is big. And what I'm going to point to is that the Astros just played the last place Boston Red Sox. And yet I think they felt like that series was a big series.
And that's what I've appreciated about this Astros team, is that the teams that they are supposed to beat, they have been beating. Those sub-500 teams, they go out and beat those teams. And they do play with that same intensity. But I think, like you said, it's a really good sign that they went out there and had that mentality against the last place team this late in the season.
0-2 the count on Butera.
Those are the signs that you and I are looking for in this ball club to kind of see what's going to happen down the line here.
One of the things I feel like I notice most years is that teams that eventually get to the postseason play well in September. They'll start beating up the other clubs. And I think it's because there's something to play for. I think that you're more focused as a team in that scenario.
It's always nice when you got the talent to back it up too.
And that's what puts that club in that position to begin with. So yeah, it's all part of the same mix, I think.
And a lot of these guys are learning that mentality in that dugout as we speak, day to day.
And another strikeout. Perfectly placed slider. 2 down for Alcides Escobar. The Astros are right in the thick of it as we check out our Toyota drive to the playoffs. And there you see it. The American League West has the Angels on top, but just by a game. Rangers, maybe they're still in it. I don't know. The wild card has the Astros on top. And I don't know. Do you look at those things as a player, or do you just say, let's go win today's game?
This day and age, it's almost virtually impossible not to look at those things. But I think with that second wild card being introduced, opens the door up for a lot more opportunity. But they are not looking at that wild card standing. If they're smart, I'm sure AJ is down there. They are focused on winning the West.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how about being the first-year manager of the Houston Astros and having to deal with this extremely good young talent and navigating them through a playoff hunt?
You know, AJ had that opportunity previously to manage the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think he felt like, and I've never asked him the question, that he did a great job. But what he said was he learned some things. And I think it's very evident, because watching him handle this bunch of players has been remarkable to me.
I couldn't agree more. What a great fit.
Strike at the knees. It's 2-1.
As a player, you've got to respect a manager who's been humbled a little bit and understands and learned from that situation.
Now, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes at all times. AJ, I've never seen him lose his cool. He deals with every situation and deals with it appropriately.
It's putting it mildly. He's pushed all the right buttons, it seems like, this year.
But sometimes it's those 6-game losing streaks like the Astros came off of the first half of the season with. Ground ball to short. Carlos Correa can make some things get a whole lot better. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Chad Qualls. To the 9th we go with the Astros leading it 4-zip.
Fourth inning for the Houston Astros started off with that Jake Marisnick double, just poking it down the right field line. This was a big one, stealing third base, brought the infield in, and Jose Altuve, all he had to do was hit it about 130 feet. Landed softly and nicely out there for an RBI, and then Preston Tucker continued that hit parade with that double in that left center field gap. 2 outs. Is where Correa's really shining that RBI situation, hitting .467 going into that at bat, drives the runner in with that big base hit. Astros offense came alive, scoring 2 runs of that inning, 2 runs in the inning before in the 3rd inning, and 4 runs is all Scott Kazmir needed.
See Jose Altuve, who has a hit and an RBI on the night. Jake Marisnick at the plate has had a big night. Couple of hits, one of those a double. The stolen base we just saw that set up a run, really set up that 2-run 4th inning as the Astros lead it 4-0. These are a couple of intriguing clubs going after each other. They're both playing great baseball at home this year. The Royals are 32-17 at home. The Astros are 33-17, even better than KC. Big difference between these teams has been on the road. Kansas City is 5 games over the 500 mark. Ball and a strike on Jake.
Now the Royals have to be thoroughly annoyed with what the Astros have done to them. I was lucky enough to call that game at home, or that series at home, when Kansas City came through, and the first 2 games they dominated. This 3rd game they came back and battled against that bullpen and beat them. It was pretty impressive stuff. But that goes back to what you were talking about. They're beating up on teams they should, but they're playing extremely good baseball against teams that have these winning records. And this is a hostile environment, or should be, but they've quieted them
Early on in the ball game, and that makes a big difference. Good swing by Jake. 3-2 the count. I don't know if we ever completed the deal on this, but I'm told by Brendan Boyle that 2004 was the year that the Home Run Derby took place at Minute Maid Park. Lance Berkman going against Miguel Tejada. Fly ball left field. Easy for Orlando. And out number 1 in the 9th inning.
How about this? Since that series in Minute Maid Park where the Astros swept Kansas City, their record is 13-6. Not bad. 6 losses came right before the All-Star break.
I was going to say, I mean,
you think about it, that's kind of bizarre.
Trying to add that one up because the Astros lost 8 times on that road trip. So, yeah.
That would be a tough one to add up.
And it's tough to get things turned around after going 2-8 on a trip. Those numbers are at home, possibly.
Possibly.
Altuve with a big swing hits a towering fly ball fairly deep to left field. Orlando is under, just shy of the warning track. That's 2 down here in the 9th inning.
Altuve was making a bid for number 10.
Oh, what? He had a good swing. Just got under. By the way, the Yankees lead the American League East by 5.5 games now. Toronto in 2nd place. Are the Yankees going to run and take that division?
Man, how about that? They're one of those teams that can make a sneaky move, pick somebody up, and try and bolster what they've got going on.
They've actually turned into a pretty good offensive club this year. Preston Tucker has a bid for the cycle. If he could come up with a triple right now.
I got confused on that 13-6. It's the Royals that have gone 13-6.
The Royals are 13-6. Okay.
My apologies.
So they've turned it right back around after the Astros laid it on them.
Yep.
Oh, and 2 the count now on Preston.
And they've got a tough stretch, the Royals do. They've had a couple makeup games. I know coming out of the break, they had that doubleheader in Chicago.
Well, I think they had played 6 less games than the Astros coming out of the break. And so they had a lot of work to do. Tucker down on strikes. So no cycle tonight. At least it wouldn't appear the opportunity will come. A 1-2-3 ninth, 4-0 Houston. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. It's game 1 of 3, and the Astros come in, lead it 4-0. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Tony Sipp is on to work it from the hill, and he'll face the 2, 3, 4 spots. A couple of those guys left-hand hitters for KC.
Now you see why. 39th appearance for Tony Sipp, doing a great job against those left-handed hitters, and the righty numbers aren't too bad either. Strikeout to walk ratio is awfully nice for a guy coming out of the bullpen. You like to see those guys coming out and pumping strikes.
So it's Sipp against Moustakas, Kane, and Hosmer. Mike Moustakas 1 for 3 on his night. And the first toss from Sipp misses away. The Angels and the Texas Rangers now have played 2.5 in Anaheim, and it's still a scoreless game in that return of Josh Hamilton to Anaheim. 2-0 the count. Hamilton comes in here hitting .234.
Struck out in his first at bat, probably much to the delight of Orange County fans.
I'll bet that has been loud when he's come to the plate.
Oh, man.
Swinging on the 2-0 is Moustakas. It's 2-1. And again, that's Nick Tropiano going for the Angels tonight. That Angels pitching staff has been lights out recently. Of course, the offense led by Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. Cole Calhoun, not too bad either. 3-1. No time to be walking a leadoff man here. Seattle trails Toronto 1-0 in the second inning. And now 3-2. And maybe Moustakas swinging at ball 4. Really nice night tonight for Scott Kazmir. 7 shutout innings in his maiden voyage for the Astros. Struck out 3, walked just 1, allowed 3 hits. Fly ball to left. Tucker is under now, and it hits off the wall in foul territory. That ball just kept on slicing down the line. Moustakas stays alive. The Astros trying to come up with their 55th win of the season. Angels are 54-41, 2 less losses than Houston. Ball 4 to start the 9th. And we check in with Julia once again.
Thanks, guys. Celebrate Craig Biggio at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend presented by Coca-Cola from July 31st to August 2nd. Giveaways throughout the weekend include Biggio Hall of Fame bobblehead, replica pinstripe jersey, and a replica Hall of Fame plaque, each to 10,000 fans. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS today. Guys, I've been hanging out down here with Rex Jones' family. They're all from the area. Of course, he's the Astros assistant trainer who is retiring after this year. 37 years that Rex has put into this Astros organization. We congratulate him on a great career. We absolutely love Rex. I love his family, too, guys. Check out the sign. It's pretty good stuff. Wouldn't miss the stash.
Nice mention, Julia. Yeah, Rex Jones has been as big a part of the Astros as a lot of people throughout a number of years. 37 years, Julia mentions.
We're going to lift. Oh. I'm showing off the sign, guys.
Rex deserves it. Every minute of it. He's put in a lot of time and effort in his organization, working his way up. And he's definitely a fan of players are definitely a fan of his in that clubhouse.
I asked Rex earlier in the year about the mustache. Will it go when he retires? He said, heck no, that's staying forever.
Worked too hard.
It's a lifetime achievement. Lorenzo Cain at the plate. Pops it up down the right side. Colby Rasmus has a bead on it. That's a fair ball as he makes the catch. And out number 1 here in the 9th inning. Stay tuned after the game as the studio crew breaks down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show that's presented by Houston Methodist. Sip gets ahead on Eric Hosmer, who's 0 for 2. He walked in the 4th inning. These Kansas City Royals have had their struggles against left-hand starters this year. They would be 17-17 if they lose tonight's game against the lefties. And the Astros would like to accommodate them. High chopper to short. And that throw from Correa gets away. And now they've got the man in between. That's Hosmer between first and second, and now they don't. And everybody's safe first and third on a throwing error by Carlos Correa. And I don't know how you let Hosmer get out of that rundown. See how this play is ruled. It brings out A.J. Hinch, and he's going to go to the bullpen.
A.J. can't be entirely happy with how Sip performed. Walked the left-handed hitter to lead off the inning. Listen, excuse me, base hit. See how they rule it with the error on the play. But eventually gets back, and Tony Sip had to go back up home plate just in case.
And I guess that's the answer to how you lose the base runner Hosmer on the first base side. Chris Carter ran down his backside, and then there was nobody at the bag. They have ruled that a single. And I would assume there has to be an E6 to account for Moustakas moving to third base. So the Astros go to the pen. Luke Gregerson comes on now to close it out here in the 9th. It's still 4-0 Houston. first and third. And let's take a look at that last play that has been ruled a base hit at this point.
Well, I think Correa did a good job going after it with the glove. Right here, Carter has to throw that ball immediately. If he lets go of that baseball and it gets to second base, he will be the person holding first base in order to get Hosmer going back to the bag. So he should have gotten rid of that ball a little bit sooner, knowing that there was nobody backing him up, with Tony Sipp going to back up home plate.
Luke Gregerson on now to work at a save situation for Gregerson. Kendrys Morales at the plate. Now batting left-handed. Shift on. 3 infielders on the right side.
Royals just looking to get on the board, but a ground ball right here would clean this mess up in a hurry.
There's no error listed on the board yet, but somehow you've got to account for Moustakas moving into third base on that, what has been ruled infield single. Strike is called. It's 0-2 now on Morales. We know about how good the Astros are coming back after the 7th inning. They lead with 51 runs from the 7th on. KC right behind.
Yeah, these are all contending teams too. Good offenses, good pitching staffs, keep them in games, allow them to come back.
Morales stays alive. It's been Kazmir, Qualls, Sipp, and now Gregerson for the Astros. Crowd in Kansas City has been quieted much of the night, with the Astros taking their early 4-0 lead, but got to make some noise here in the 9th. $36,965 on hand. Royals 4th in the league now in attendance. To that count remains on Kendrys Morales. Ground ball left side. Can they get to Valbuena onto Correa, and they get the double play? That'll go 5-6-3. A run scores as Moustakas crosses. It's now 4-1. Oh, that's the end of the ball game. I am so sorry. That is the final out as they get it on the double play and complete the shutout. 4-0. The Astros come in and win it over KC in game 1. And Scott Kazmir gets a win in his first effort. And boy, that's good to see for this club.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Keep their winning ways going. Did a great job of that homestand. This short 3-game trip gets off to a nice start here in a tough place, but playing great baseball against a great ball club here in Kansas City. And Scott Kazmir makes his debut a special one for the Houston Astros. Pitching 7 innings, giving up 3 hits, no earned runs, only the 8th Astro to do that in the history of the franchise.